Welcome to Beyond the Stockroom, where we will be exploring the vast career opportunities that exist beyond the stockroom. What happens when a product is out of stock? That's where we come in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Stockroom. We're so excited to finally have a rep featured on the podcast. We are 13 episodes in. This is episode 13, and we have yet to have a rep, so it goes to show how busy they are. But the wonderful Ashley Miller McKinney has joined us. So, Ashley, please let us know who you work for and what kind of your
Wow.
world as a sales rep looks like. We've hyped it up
Oh,
so much. So
13 episodes? Is it really? Have we really had to reschedule that many times?
Just a little bit.
Just a
you're
little
good.
bit.
You're
Yeah, I know
good.
we've had to reschedule. We're finally making it happen.
Yes.
My name is Ashley Miller McKinney. Stumbled up on a new name there with Delaney last year, getting married. So
Congrats.
I am currently Eastern North Carolina sales rep and a few key account sales rep for Gibb Carson companies. We're primarily a multi-brand sales rep agency on the East Coast. We have a few states in the West and Rockies and Pacific Northwest, but primarily we are covering from Maine to Florida. And Eastern North Carolina is my territory. So
Nice.
yeah, I have a fun territory. I have a little bit of inland, tiny bit of coastal. I get a little bit of key account love. So I do it all when it comes to like
Yeah,
retail, I feel like, except for the
that's awesome.
mountains. I'll stay at the
Okay.
beach.
Yeah. Well, you have a favorite? So the beach versus the mountains of your
I grew up
territory.
on the coast, so I
Okay.
love going back to where, like I grew up and, being a rep there and meeting business owners and stuff. But I kind of like having my inland territories too. Because outside of those like souvenir reps and stuff, there's a lot of people that just have, there's no mountains, there's no lakes, there's no beach. It's just land. Like we're just flat, like what are you doing when it's just flat land? So I've got that as well. So I like the challenge.
Nice. Love that. What like do you have, can you name some of your key accounts by name so that our listeners kind of
Yeah.
understand what a key
I
account
have a
is?
couple of, I do a couple brand Amazon things as well. Like we handle the reselling and branding for brands. Like they hire us to do it exclusively. So I've kind of specialized in that the last 5 years. I currently have 14 brands that we manage for that. Belk department stores. I work with their home department a lot as well. So primarily those two really
Okay.
is kind of what I consider. And then everything else about and the rest, I'd say more than 70% of my numbers are just independent retail stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why we're here. About
That's why we're here.
70% of
Independent
the
retail. I know.
independents. Let's go. So
Still alive. Can still
I
make a
know.
living, in independent
Yeah,
retail. I'm living proof
you
of that,
can. You
It's the
can,
best.
listeners. It isn't a dead end job like we've been saying.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not.
As
Interesting. Main Street
yeah,
changing a little bit, but yeah.
yeah, definitely interesting, especially like as we go into your background, because you did start in retail.
I
So
did.
how'd you go from retail to becoming a rock star sales rep?
People ask me this all the time, like, do you want to go back to retail? And I'm like, there are parts of me that do, knowing what I know now. But back then, so I had two retail stores. I'm your classic basement story. I started a monogram business out of my basement and did 600 pashminas one Christmas. And was like, hey, we can turn this into a store. Here we go. So blindly, at 26, I, got laid off from like a big kid job. Basically had my dream job when I was 26. I was VP of sales of a children's apparel company over the United States. So at 24, so it was kind of really a big deal.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're just not really going to do reps anymore. We're going to catalog. And they're like, peace out. So here we go. Had a little 401k, got a monogram machine, quickly picked up, went to a storefront, and I couldn't find a lot of the stuff that I wanted to give as gifts. And with my apparel production background and doing that sales with that company for a while, I started sourcing apparel. And from the retail stores, I'm not going to say accidentally because it was intentional, but I started a wholesale apparel company, importing seersucker goods.
Nice.
So I had the retail and the wholesale business alongside of each other for like 7-ish years. And I don't recommend starting two businesses at the same time within a couple years of each other because one of them is going to suffer. So I sold the retail stores in 2017 and then ended up selling the wholesale apparel company in 2019. Wasn't really sure, kind of like I knew I liked retail. I knew I loved the people. I knew I wanted to keep giving back to women in retail and, speaking and writing with Gift Shop Magazine. And I didn't really know where to go. And then Gibb Jr., Gibb Carson Jr., being the wonderful recruiter he is, planted an idea in my head. He's like, hey, you can do it all when you're a rep. You can stay in the industry, you can help your retailers, you can communicate with your vendors. And I was like, let's do this. And that was 7 years ago. I love it. I love it. It's so true. I have a lot of squirrels, and every single one of them are busy every day. There's none of them that get bored. None of them, because I have, a couple hundred retailers. Then you have 30, 40-ish vendors, so you're always moving in different parts with everything. So
yeah. Are those your own squirrels, or are these like
they're my
assistants that you have? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I do have an assistant.
Yeah.
She helps keep my squirrels in line too.
Good. That's good.
I just never want to get bored again, because that's what happened. I felt like I didn't have enough to do, so I started a second business. And I'm like, no, I don't ever feel like I need anything else. Being a rep, it completes me. Like, I feel like it completes me. I have enough vendors, I have enough retailers. There's always something going on. I'm never, trying to find, something else to do.
Keeps you busy.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
On top of your personal life that you're amazing at upholding too. Like, go you, rock star. So, well, amazing. So, out of all the roles that you have had, obviously the sales rep position is your favorite because it's combined everything that you love together.
Really, I feel like it's going to sound cheesy, but I feel like everything I did led me to this point. Not to be the typical cliche, but working in marketing and, working with, multiple sales reps across the country and kind of managing that, going into starting my own business, still being a 1099, 100% commission contractor. People are like, what does that mean? Well, 100% commission means 100% commission. There's no base, there's no salary, there's no, PTO, it's 100% commission. My salary is based off of the orders and the relationships and the business that I do with my retailers. So being self-employed for those couple of years before in my mid-20s, before I started this, I think helped a lot. I don't know, you just kind of take everything that you had, it just kind of works with what I'm doing now. So
yeah. So your previous business history has helped you kind of get into the business model of the rep world. For somebody that's listening to this and resonating with what your path was, but maybe this commission piece is what's stumbling them, what would you say is a great place to start in getting this type of business up and running?
Well, for one thing, that's a tough one. It's a good one. You got to be willing to bet on yourself. 100% commission is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think you really have to know yourself, and that's okay. I have two best friends, and 100% commission, they would never survive, but I also could never be a nurse. So, it's one of those things. I think you have to know yourself, know your pros, know your cons, and it's not for everyone. And you got to be willing to bet on yourself, and you got to be willing to get up every morning without somebody behind you, without, going into an office. I do get into my carfist. I call it my carfist, my car office.
I love that.
Yeah, it's my carfist. So yeah, if you're willing to bet on yourself and you can do it, it's going to take a while to build the business. It's not something where you're going to get your first large bonus in 30 days. That's not going to be it. But if you're willing to invest in yourself for a few months, even 6 months to a year, even 3 years, I would say it took me, every commission check got larger every single month. Every commission check got larger every single month. And after about 3 years is when I kind of started, I'm not going to say steadying out, but you had somewhat of a pattern, you had stability with it. Even before that, I felt like I had stability because everything was, continuing to grow, even that first year. So absolutely, it's very rewarding. I'm in control. There is no limit there. If I want to continue to take on business, I got an assistant 4 years ago because I quickly realized that what I could handle as far as my accounts was going beyond me, just the day-to-day customer service, communication stuff. And I quickly knew that I needed to bring somebody in to help manage that, to continue, growing those clients and keeping those relationships. So I brought her in after 2.5 years. She's been with me, going on 4.5, I think. So that was me growing my own business in my own territory. But I'm still going after new customers every single day. And I've been doing it 7 years, and there's still I'm not gonna say a plethora, but there's still a lot of opportunity out there.
Yeah. Well, that's always helpful to hear.
Yeah.
From any of us in the industry, that there's so much opportunity out there. So,
yeah,
especially newbies.
It's also great how you as a rep are also almost a business of your own, having an assistant under you that you fully fund and basically pay for, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Um,
Yeah.
1,000%.
how did you get your assistant into it? Was it somebody you knew, or did you source out somebody?
Well, it started out, I knew her, but I still made her go through the interview process. So there's one thing I learned as a business owner, and it was people. And I quickly spent a lot of time on the hiring forefront when I had my other businesses. So I kind of started with, okay, just like brain dumping. Like, what is it? Like, what do I want? What do I want this person to do? I literally sat down on the couch with a pad and a pen, and I literally wrote down, like, this person does this. This person does this. Because I knew it would be, because I'm paying for them from, my business. And, it had to be somebody who was going to be, I wanted them to actually help. I didn't want them to just like answer phones or, dodge emails. Like, they had to understand wholesale and retail. That was off the bat. I mean, you just have to understand basic wholesale retail. I knew that I wanted them to grow into more of a sales role with it, possibly because the territory was still growing. Figuring out what it is that you want. So many people go to hire and they shoot before they aim. And they don't take a minute to figure out what is it that's going to help the business. Like, what is it that you're exactly trying to fulfill? So once that happened, I put out I emailed all my current customers. I figured the position could be remote. They didn't have to be, near me or in the same town as me. So I started with my current customers and I was like, hey guys, do you guys know anybody? I'm looking for this person. I did put what I was willing to pay hourly. It was kind of a part-time gig. I was willing to provide, a laptop, an iPad, etc. And one of my buyers of my stores just had her second child at the start of COVID. And her husband owned his own business. She was like, I've been wanting to kind of stay at home and do this. Like, think it might work out. And she just happened to be one of my customers. She didn't own the retail store. There was an owner. She was just the manager, but she did most of the buying. And so I still went through the whole interview process, phone interviews. I could tell within the first 5 minutes this person was going to be able to work closely with me. And so from the phone interviews, I went to in-person stuff like video like this. So Allison she got the job. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Using your network, knowing who, that's good. For those
biggest thing, people ask me that all the time with an assistant, like, how'd you figure that out? And I was like, well, you got to figure out what you want first.
Yeah.
That would be my number one thing is figure out what you want first and then go from there.
Yeah. So she answers phones, like phone calls from customers, answers emails from customers, mainly about like claims and questions.
She's strictly admin. Mm-hmm. Okay. She handles invoices, damage claims, order inquiries, order entry, order taking, website stuff. If a customer has, like, I've sent her 4 things already. I think like right before this call, like 4 things came in and I was like, Allison, can you get approval on this? Like, can you do this? Can you do that? So she's fielding a lot of the admin customer service task for me.
Nice.
Over 4 years, she gets close with customers going on the phone, like not even being on the road. So, I have customers that will go straight to her now. And, it's fine. I'm not offended at all. Like, that's fine.
Okay.
They're so funny. I still try to check in with them. But they'll just be like, oh, just call Allison. And I'm like, okay, that's, she's probably like more likely to answer the phone on the first ring than I am because I'm in stores, I'm driving, I'm on a podcast, so it worked, but she is strictly admin. So
that's awesome.
She stayed that way since.
Yeah. How long do you think it took like some customers to just begin calling her?
Years.
Okay. Yeah. That's what
I'm not even going to try and show you that.
No, you're fine.
So I have a weekly newsletter that goes out to all of my customers. And I started putting Allison in that newsletter and I think even after 2 years, I literally still had a call in my newsletter. There was like, Allison is legit. Like
she's real.
That was the title of it. Like,
Use her.
not welcome Allison. It was Allison is legit. And it's like, Allison is my assistant. She may be calling you. She's not AI or a scam. And like, she does need your credit card. She does need to get your approval. Yeah. So, but now after 4 years, there's a lot of people like, oh, Allison. So it's kind of, but for everyone, at least a year, if not more.
Yeah. Do you bring her to shows?
Occasionally. She's been to 2. I'd love for her to come to more. Okay. She, her and her husband are very independent with their kids and they don't have a lot of childcare. So it's difficult. Yeah. But she's worth so much more during the rest of the year. Yeah. But I'll let her slide on shows for now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice. Well, and it'd probably be a little extra expense for you if like when she does come. Yeah. So
It is.
all the things as the rep
You know how shows
business
like
model.
reset us. I mean,
Yeah.
they on the road as a rep, of course, I call people and I stay in touch with people and you communicate, but you're not going into an office, you're not having water cooler conversations, you're not gathering around coffee every morning. I mean, you're kind of on your own. And so talking to her, talking to other reps, talking to people on my team, within Gibb Carson organization is how we kind of all stay connected. And shows are still exhilarating to me.
To everybody.
Yep.
Across all of our episodes, everybody seems to have it's a love-hate relationship with markets because it's so much work, but it is so much fun.
Stress too.
So much work.
Everybody's stress level. I think you walk in immediately, on a scale of 1 to 10. I think you walk into market on a 9.7.
Yeah.
Everybody's already on high alert. You don't get there. You just walk into a show like that.
But it's the
Yeah, that's for
performance
sure.
of all performances for us in this industry. So we're here for it. Nice.
I think one thing I just wanted to say, we talk a lot about how if anybody wants to get into this industry and they want to try it out, if you will, we talk about temping at shows because that's a great way to kind of experience all of it. But I think another one, Ashley, to your point, like what you have as an assistant, it's more of a commitment than temping. But if it's something that you're comfortable doing administrative type stuff like that, but also it kind of gets you into this business and working alongside a rep, I think that's another avenue that people could pursue coming into this. Now, I don't know that every sales rep across the nation has an assistant, but it is something that I think even Delaney, you're preaching internally inside your organization. As it's kind of like that. Investing in yourself, which I imagine that's how you look at it, Ashley, right? Yeah, it costs you money, but in the return, it probably makes you more money because you're able to help more people in a timely manner, right? Yeah.
Right. It's more about a timely manner thing, in what I call the digital day and age, people just don't wait. They just, we can get it instantly. And it's the biggest, a juxtaposition. Basically, it's the relationship, but we got to be available when we're available. And we have to buy at all different, sorts of places and where they're at all the time.
Yeah.
So just being able to help the customer as soon as possible, because I am one person and this is a relationship driven business. And what I do. And my customers are wonderful. They understand, they're patient. I mean, they get it. There's not one that probably, but if I missed a text message before, 1,000%. Have I missed an email down at the bottom of my inbox because 55 more came through in the last 2 hours? 100%. Yeah. So Allison just
we're all
helps
human.
me. Yeah, she really helps me cover all those tracks and really make sure that that those missed opportunities and those missed communications are as little as possible.
Yeah. For you said number one that was that they needed to have some experience and or knowledge with the wholesale retail relationship. For those listeners who maybe have only had retail experience, where could they go to maybe working within the retail realm already? Where could they go to maybe get a little bit more of this whole experience working in the retail world?
Yeah. If they have retail experience, they have wholesale experience without knowing it. Number one.
Right.
True.
Because they know the goods just don't magically appear on the shelves. And you would be surprised at how many per se, what I call it, the general public. I say the general public. The general public, we are part of a, $400 billion industry, however many billions of dollars it is. And we're all underground. And I've said this for years. We're all underground because nobody gives a shit about where it comes from.
Right.
They just want it on the shelf.
Yep.
So if you're working in retail, you already have wholesale experience because it just doesn't show up. So you already have the experience without knowing it, number one. It comes from somewhere. It has to be bought from somewhere. It has to be ordered from somewhere, whether it be a distribution center, a warehouse. There's boxes that show up. Yeah. So there you go. You have it and don't even know it.
Or when you're the one checking in the product and then the product that you took out of the box is broken, and then your store probably has a policy on how you track that, but where does that, after you track it, go? Oh, it probably goes to accounting so that they can get it figured out with the vendor. So
which is why my assistant, being in the position she was in, she knows the importance of needing an invoice for a package that's sitting in the middle of her store for the last 3 days. Her money's gone. She needs to get that product on the floor And so she can't wait, a week to get a piece of paper of a receipt that her credit card was charged. So she understands the importance of that. And that was kind of key because that's what she was going to be doing for my retailers is she understands the importance of, money lost to them and them making money for their business depends on our customer service.
Yeah. And I think it's that part right there where probably for you, Ashley, it was like a time saver and the fact that you didn't want to train her in all of the jargon, all of the ways of running business. Yeah, I'm sure there was still training, but at least like she had the basics. And I think that's our goal, especially with starting this podcast for the listeners who are not in the industry already, because you probably have worked retail, but you've never heard the term wholesale or know the whole process. So if we're looking for people that have this,
right,
I hope you get educated.
Well, and people working in retail, I think that they think retail is their only outlet.
Exactly.
And so, but it's not. Like if you're in retail, you have this expansive world in front of you. That's wholesale. That's the gift industry, the apparel industry. Like you have all this, but you just don't really know it exists.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to put your headphones on and walk towards the back and go beyond the stockroom because that's where we all live.
Right. Like
let's go.
It's like you walk into that secret stockroom Narnia door, like
that, and
world.
I also like when we came up with this name, I was thinking about Click for some reason.
What I was
like
Christopher
Walken and Bed Bath and Beyond. And it's the and beyond. Oh man, yeah.
No,
so
it's good. But I think I think people like think they're just retail, so this wholesale world like scares them a little bit. But like you already know more than you think you know.
Yeah. So I guess running it
like look into wholesale.
Yeah, I guess running it back a little bit to how you started in like your 20s as in a directors of sale position. So what company was that for and how'd you land that?
So I had a great internship. I was an intern the entire last semester of college. I did a full-time internship for 12 credit hours. My college of communication allowed me to take no classes and just go to work for 40 hours a week. And I loved it. And I worked for an advertising agency, and the agency had a stellar internship program, which actually prompted me to create a stellar internship program when I had my companies and my businesses, just to kind of like pay it forward a little bit. They ended up hiring me right out of college at the ad agency. I worked on Michelin tire press releases. All those numbers on your tires, I can actually tell you what they all mean.
Fancy.
So I worked in new business at the ad agency, like acquiring new clients. And one of the clients was a children's apparel company, Kelly's Kids. And they had at the time home party sales reps. The sales reps couldn't build a team. They were all single level with Kelly's Kids, but it was still a catalog home-based sales business. And my job as VP of sales was to support all of those moms and all of those people working at home for their sales business, with the children's apparel company. So I was over sales for all of those. So it kind of got me, like sales tools, materials, managing, encouraging, motivating, different styles. Like, how do you do this? Like how-to guides, trainings, webinars, et cetera. And that was when I was 24. I went after them as a new client and they ended up hiring me as their sales director. So that was fun.
There you go.
I loved it. I got to go on really cool trips with the top 10 sales reps.
Nice.
I'm still trying to get Gib to do those trips. No.
Put in the plug over here.
I know, right? Yeah, let's see. Are you listening? But no. It's probably a Heather thing more than Gib, but yeah. So that's how it all happened. It just kind of went from the ad agency to like new business and client, and it just kind of set me up. And then people just stopped buying like kids. Well, the whole. Let's talk about it.
There was a little bit of a flow. I feel like that was coming back in.
The home party, kids catalog business wasn't what it was. I think it took a shift. I think a lot of catalog-based companies took a shift. I think it's still, a shift in it. And so it just wasn't what it was. And so they just wanted to focus on a different direction and not really do the sales rep. They were just going to go, straight to online and stuff. And I get it. They were struggling. It wasn't profitable for them anymore, Yeah. So they took a shift. And with that, director of sales reps kind of got eliminated. So I was like, well, what do I do?
Well, maybe there's listeners also that are currently in that business model. And to me, I think almost those types of sales reps could easily transition over into this world and possibly even make more if I had to guess. So Interesting. New little world we haven't explored on the podcast yet
Yeah,
for
that's true.
a transition type career.
I'm here to bring it. Let's do it.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. Well, Dylan and I have talked a lot about like what the rep kind of day to day looks like, but from the rep themselves, Ashley, what does your day to day look like?
Like an average day in the life of Ashley.
Yeah, just a road day.
A road day. Okay. I was going to say, because there's actually.
Or should we go like an average week for you? What is an average
week? Well, I was going to say there's 2 times the year to my job for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And they both kind of happen quarterly, believe it or not. It's ebbs and flows. I'm not on the road 12 months out of the year. I just did an article interview with Angela and Gifts and Deck about that, the ever changing times. Don't be shocked. I'm not on the road 12 months out of the year. You can't, and you physically cannot be, not in this digital day and age and seeing where all the buyers are. So mine's kind of grouped into quarters, like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay. Q1, we have the biggest show of the year in January. We kick off. Everybody's coming off of Christmas. They've all got money. We've got to restock stores. You're diving headfirst in, and I'm on the road. I'm on the road 3 to 4 days a week. January, February, March. Absolutely. So I kind of get up. I'm an early riser. I'm early to bed, early to riser. So I obviously, I just kind of skim my emails and see what's going on. Like, what can I get over to Allison? What do I need to call for the day? Because when I was first starting out as a sales rep, I had more stops or more appointments per day because I didn't know those retailers as much. Now that my business has grown, it's very difficult for me to squeeze in any more than 2 or 3 appointments per day in a full 10-hour day driving. And that's just because you build those relationships, you build up that business to where you're with your retailer, you're with your client longer. If you only have 2 lines with them, you're maybe there 30 minutes to an hour. But when you have 17 lines with one store, it's a couple of hours and I'm ordering in lunch. So, I get in the car.
Customers want Zaxby's, they get Zaxby's.
Absolutely. Of course they do. Yeah. Diet Coke. Diet Coke from McDonald's. I've gotten certain requests. I have a couple of them that only want Diet Sunkissed. I know their orders.
I didn't even know they made that.
Yeah. See, I've got it in the showroom for one of my buyers. If she's listening, hey, Jenny. And she's always come back. She's like, I've got to come to your showroom because you always make sure I have Diet Sunkissed. No, we do not carry Diet Sunkissed in our showroom, but do I put it in the refrigerator just for her? Yes, every single time. I'm driving. My commute, I'm very, very lucky. So my territory spans about 3.5, 4 hours from end to end, like one end to the other end. Okay. So I am very lucky. I have family that lives here. I live here. Lucky. I have family that lives here. Nice. I am very blessed. I've been blessed I stay with my dad and my stepmom probably 16 to 20 weeks out of the year, Monday through Thursday. As soon as this recording's over, I'm actually driving to Eastern North Carolina because I have early appointments that are 45 minutes from his house tomorrow morning, and I have 3 tomorrow. So I got to get started early. So instead of getting up and driving at 4 a.m., I'm going to be driving, tonight or this afternoon. So I normally, build those days. I'm also looking at, what's the new business? Can I stop in somewhere? Can I introduce myself? Hey, I'm here to help you. I'm your local sales rep for this, and this. I was in here. I think this could help you, because it took me years to coin this, but I've always done it. My job is to help my retailers make money, and save them time. Those are my 3 jobs for my stores. And I tell them that all the time. That's what I'm supposed to do for you. So I'm here to do one of those 3 things. So I visit those, and then the other time in between is so funny because I normally have anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour in between appointments, or I try. You run over. So you get in your car, you're quickly trying to see, what text messages, what phone calls, what emails have you missed, what fires can you put out, what can I, get over to Allison for the day. And then you're driving. And then I'm talking on the phone while I'm driving because I'm trying to figure out if I can solve this problem or touch base with that customer. And then you get to the next store, and, my car, I have I'll send you photos you guys can put up for this. But I have these, I've gone through multiple different organizational tools in the car over the last 7 years, but I have catalog crates. Yeah. Carfus. I have catalog crates and then it's literally loaded down with samples.
Nice.
And being the type A person that I was when I first started, I wanted to have everything organized, like everything labeled. that quickly had to go out the window. Like, you just got to get in your car and go some days. I mean, you can't, it's still, boxes are arriving every day, samples are arriving every day. You're constantly cleaning out this, getting a catalog for that. So it's just moving in different things. So yeah, and then you get back to wherever you're staying, whether it be a hotel, your house, your dad's house at the age of 40. You know, I'm still staying at home, you know, working. I'm not gonna lie. They get to see me sometimes. They may not get to see me sometimes. I'm home super late. But yeah, those road weeks right now, I would say are about 6 to 8 months out of the year. And the rest of the time I'm in the office, or I'm doing, you know, maybe like one road day a week. But yeah, there's a lot to manage, you know, text message, phone calls, emails, outside of those in-person appointments. All of that still has to be managed well. And I think that's the biggest challenge that I've seen. That's been the biggest challenge for me over the last 7 years, is managing in-person client appointments and road appointments with all of the digital stuff that comes with it.
Yeah. Do you think you found a balance, or?
Yeah. Hybrid situation, hybrid rep situation.
Okay.
Pretty
so
much.
Less days on the road so that you can deal more with the digital world, because that's
But
where
I
the
don't know
customers
that I could
kind of
have
are.
done less days on the road first starting out, because I think that's why I've been so successful.
Right.
I would agree.
So you have to look at where I'm at. Like, I'm not in year 2. I'm in year 7.
This is true.
I think if I go back to year 2, I'm building up that client base, so I'm not going to have as much digital.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah, you got to walk before you can run, or maybe in this case, you got to run so that you can walk later on. You got to do all the hard work up front and the relationship building up front.
Exactly.
To really
I'm still building those relationships. I mean, those customers still expect to see me in their store.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's just things as you get to know somebody, you know, you're not.
Yeah.
You can still catch up with them and feel like you just saw them the other day on the phone too.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, as for somebody in year 1 or year 2 as a sales rep, yes, it's extremely important to like show up in front of the customer more, because that's ultimately, I think, what the customer really is basing where they'll go with you as a sales rep.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you came back. Yay.
Yeah, for sure. The trust that I've built with my retailers didn't come from just one store visit a year.
Right.
It doesn't, I mean, I'm still seeing them more now. I mean, they still see me on a regular basis. It's just not, they might not see me like once a month, or they might not need me this way. I've also learned their business. So I know how to stock them, and like when they need me versus when they don't need me to be in store, if that makes sense. So and it takes years and years to learn all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely paid off, and it continues to pay off, and how I built it up and how I stay in touch with everybody.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So I guess maybe in like what does Q3 look like for you? Because that was Q1.
Normally be an Atlanta show.
True. Normally.
We had a conversation about this. You know, Atlanta got moved because of FIFA this year, and it's throwing everything off. You know, we had it in June. We had an entire month early. I don't really know. I've always told people my summer ends after July 4th. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing after July 4th now. I'm a little like, because we had the Atlanta show in June. I know what I'm doing. I got road appointments. So what I would normally be doing in August, I'm now doing in July. So it's like my whole year has been pushed up a month. Maybe we should have this podcast again in December to find out what I'm doing in December.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
How's Q4 going? Did it all balance out?
So Q1 is like it's like high road all the time, like road show. Q2 calms down a little bit. I'm not on the road as much. I'm kind of like resetting a little bit. You know, I'm still visiting people, still seeing certain things, but I'm not probably 4 or 5 days a week. Like I said, it's a little bit lighter. And then Q3 would be, so it's like every quarter, like every 3 months kind of changes the job that I have. You know, the job that I had in February is not the same job that I have in May sometimes. Which is also, you know, keeping my squirrels busy. There's always something going on. Like it's not the same thing every day.
So yeah, you say your job is different. So what would you say are all the jobs that you have as a sales rep?
Any entrepreneurial psychologist. We all are to some extent. Let's see. Just any business owner. I mean, your admin, your accountant, you're an assistant, you're, fielding the phone calls, you're answering the emails, your customer service, you're a sales rep, you're, new business, because you got to find new business. You've got to drum up that. You got to run your reports. You're doing reporting. You're the data office. I mean, you're all of it. You're,
Yeah.
trying to learn this. You're, educational, continuing education and trying to keep up with trends and what's going on. And, what's the next big thing for your retailers? There's also, you work for your retailers, and I'm not going to say you work for free because that's part of the relationship. But yeah, if there's a box of my vendor stuff and it hasn't made it to the floor yet, yeah, I'm rolling up my sleeves and I'm tagging it. And I used an old school tag gun the other week. And I mean, like ones with like this, like I had to turn the dials to put the price on the sticker and then put it on the jewelry. And I did all 200 pieces of jewelry and put it on the floor for that customer. Absolutely. Because she's like, well, my other girl's been sick. I was like, this won't take me long at all. Quickly did I forget how much time it took to turn those things into the ink and then but I did it. I got it done. You work for them. You're their retail associate. You're their advisor.
Well, because at the end of the day, if you get the product out faster, you're going to get a reorder faster. So
right, I'm like, we can't turn this into a reorder if it's not on the floor. We got to get it from the stock room to the floor. Like
exactly,
right.
We can't be having this. So yeah,
and that all just ties into that relationship side of it too, because they see what you do to help, basically to their store. Like you're not required to do that by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that's what separates like normal from exceptional, and like that's exceptional service, right? Helping go that extra mile, understanding that somebody's out sick today, or you're short staffed because of something happened, right? Let me just jump in and see how I can help you.
And it builds trust. Those are the kind of things that you can't really build on an inside sales position. There's a lot you can do with inside sales. I've done a lot of research on it the last couple of years, especially going into getting nervous a little bit too. As I'm pregnant. I'm due in October with my first kid.
Yeah, so, congratulations.
So exciting.
Thank you. Yes. He's going to know how to write an order by next summer. So
I hope to see him at market.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
He'll come along. He'll be a retail kid, I'm sure. There'll be weeks where he comes to grandma and grandpa's house, Yeah. It's going to be fun. That's the plan. But I've done a lot of inside sales and that's the difference that kind of separates what I do still versus just being an inside sales rep over the phone, is because that is that extra mile. That is building that trust. They know that I'm there for the long term. They know that I truly want to help them. And that's the one difference for me, I think, from inside sales to what we do.
Yeah. And that's big. Like our mom, a big philosophy of hers has always been like, you can't buy goodwill. So you just show up, do your best, and everything else will come. So
well said. Well said.
That's exciting. I can't wait to meet your baby though. Oh my gosh. That's gonna be so exciting.
Hottest months of the year, and I'm on the road.
Yeah, there we go.
Last couple months of pregnancy. Here we go.
Oh, you go, girl.
Hey, Dillon makes it work. He's in his dad era.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that Penelope's first show was like what? She was almost a year old, I guess.
No, she's like 4 months, 3 months.
Oh no, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, it was January, huh? Yeah. Okay. And she was just on Kimmy, and Kimmy's running around the showroom writing orders.
Hey, you best believe it. When she's old enough to come work a show, and by work it, I mean anything. If that's getting waters for buyers or whatever, she'll be there and she'll be working.
Babies and puppies, man. I'm telling you, she's so cute. She could sell anything in that showroom.
Yes.
Right. We'll see.
Love
I'll
it.
put her to work.
Yeah. So I think we've touched a lot on the different industries that have similar-ish roles. But as you've also worked a lot of different roles, what makes the sales rep in this industry particular so unique and worthwhile?
For me, financially, money was a big motivator. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't. I wanted to be successful. And part of that for me is defined through financially. I'm willing to admit that. I don't have a problem with that. So like no cap, no glass ceiling, like everything was up to me. I knew I'd done it before. I knew I could do it again. That was a big motivator for me, like a big draw, I guess, is what you could. The other thing was, it's so funny. I talk about going to W-2, like could I ever go work for somebody again and do a W-2 and do an office job? And, as much flexibility as I have, I also don't have the flexibility. There are certain times of the year. For instance, I'm going to have a baby in October. My largest show of the year is in January. Yes, I will be 60 some days postpartum, and that kid we're working our lives around it. And that's just what we do. I mean, some people might think that's crazy, but everybody in the industry understands that. And, it's just the sacrifices you make. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not, missing January. And that just makes me so sad. Like, I want to be sad. I want to go to the show. So the flexibility of it as well. If you like a little bit more of a faster paced environment and not doing the same thing every day, I highly recommend the sales rep position. Just because you're working with so many different brands. I'm a multi-line rep, so I don't represent one brand. I have lots going on with,
and then it changes too. Your line package is like cyclical.
And the greatest mentor in my life, told me one thing. You're like, if you don't like change, you don't need to be in retail. And it's the truth. I mean, it's the God.
I'd say that good PSA
change.
For our listeners.
Yeah, if you don't like change and you have trouble adapting to it, this isn't the industry for you, and that's okay. But yeah, you got to be willing to pivot. More than ever the last 6 years. We could all go into all that. But yeah, like I said, there's no 2 days alike. There's always something new. There's always something fun. There's always a new retailer. There's always a new problem to solve. So for me, that's the difference in like a sales rep versus like a sales manager or, being with one brand. No offense, all those people are great. I work with some great people who have one brand focused, but it's not me.
Love it. I think that's a good sum up of it for sure. So I'd give, go ahead, Dillon.
I was just going to say, if like, you're like one of the embodiments of a sales rep, I think, in this industry, what is like to any listener that was like, all right, I'm going to look and I'm going to find somebody's posted sales rep positions. I'm going to go apply if there's any, based off where I live, or I'm looking for change and I'm ready to move. I want to change. I want to move. What is if you could tell your younger self when you first started 7 years ago, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give someone?
What biggest piece of advice? You were going to stump me, weren't you? Ask questions.
Good one.
And I did it. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to seek veteran. I did it, and I'm glad that I did it. And it's one thing I wouldn't change. I was a nosy little question asker as my first year as sales rep. I introduced myself to all the reps, all the veteran reps at the show. I asked them questions. Like, how do you do this? What do you do there? Anytime I get somebody, I reached out and called them. Was I introduced to every sales rep right before my first show? Yes, at the show. But even before then, I was like, hey, I'm Ashley Miller McKinney, North Carolina. Got a question how you do this. How do you do that? And I basically spent a lot of time the first couple months interviewing some of the veteran sales reps. And how are they successful? What did they do? And just kind of being like a sponge.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's great advice.
And I wasn't scared to do it. I was like, I'm going to do this, and I got to figure out what worked for some and what works for them doesn't always work for you, but right. I think taking on what they've done and really adapting to it or making it yours is how you can improve on it. But they've all been doing something right if they've been around for, 20, 25 years being a sales rep, and they're still around and they're still successful. What did they do that makes them successful? So I just, get nosy, ask questions.
Get nosy. That's a great answer. I love that answer.
I love that. Yeah, and something for the listeners, we do currently have sales rep positions posted on our job board. So take that. I'm not sure how those companies that have jobs listed do their training model, but at least over here at Nest and maybe similar at Gibb Carson, when we have new reps come on, we set them up with a veteran rep as a mentor. Yep. So that is an easy way for you to just get nosy.
Onboarding, definitely.
Onboarding is what tends to set, I think, companies apart right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they're investing in is far, especially when it comes to a sales rep, because you don't want that turned over. Right. That's a position you want the lowest turnover in your company for.
100%. 100%.
And I think we're investing more in onboarding the last couple of years because Gibb Carson is very lucky in that we do have, I guess, would it be high retention? We have very little turnover with our sales teams. And we won't even less than that with these new territories and reps that are retiring. And so I think one of the most important things is going to be how agencies and how sales rep agencies are doing their onboarding and having a program available to help them right off the bat.
Yeah, nice. I agree. I'm thinking it almost needs to be standardized, like the onboarding process. But I know that's a larger topic to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
some kind
go
of
ahead.
industry standard that we don't really have. We just have, that's the problem. There's no like, trying to think of like what you would call, there's no organization that's like over every, regulator, if you will, over every business, right? So every business just operates independently and they have their own processes, but there's no standardization. So how someone does it here could be completely different how someone does it here in your experience. It's
Get
just
nosy in your interviews. Ask those people what they're, compare. Like ask.
Yeah.
100% commission it's not, it's something don't take lightly. I mean, you get to interview the agency as well.
Yeah.
I would also say that
people too.
they might even be likely to take suggestions if you have a preferred method of onboarding, or you've picked something up from listening to this and you want to, you really like, maybe it's where you live and it's a rep position and you like their line package or something and you want to work it, but maybe you never know. You never know.
Never know.
You don't.
Never know.
Awesome.
So retirement was a great segue because I think there's going to be a lot of change in the next 5 to 10 years. We've primarily talked, sales management, agency side, et cetera. From the sales reps perspective, what do you think is going, like, what kind of changes do you think we're going to be seeing a lot of in the coming 5 to 10 years?
Oh man, there's going to be a lot. I think, oh gosh. How is it going to impact us and what are we thinking? Technology for sure.
Of course.
The next 5 to 10 years is definitely going to belong to the organizations that can adapt faster than they predict. We've seen it. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Technology, especially AI and automation, it's going to continue changing how work gets done. To me, the real differentiator won't necessarily be the technology, but it's going to be how the leaders embrace it. And deliver a better customer experience. So
Absolutely.
How are leaders going to adapt it to their companies? How are we going to use it for an onboarding process? How can we use the technology to have a better onboarding to keep our, our turnover low?
Yeah, for sure. I'm toying with making a custom GPT just that, screw just one FAQ sheet. Yeah. We're going to make a custom GPT so that everybody in the company can just type in their question, get what nests, whatever policy is, procedure is, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
On the flip side of it, though, the way we're operating is becoming more complex. So consumers, our buyers, our shoppers, everything is changing so quickly, politically, economically. All the shifts are creating uncertainty. But there's also talent that does, value, purpose, flexibility, and growth. Yeah. So companies that try to operate the way they did 10 years ago are going to struggle. They are. They're going to have to embrace it and they're going to have to understand, just like I've kind of embraced this hybrid rep situation. It's just, I'm owning it. It's the way I run a business now. It's just the way it is. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of the, both worlds, the best of both worlds, not to quote Hannah.
Yeah. That's okay. We're all nostalgic and celebrating.
So stay curious, invest in your people. I think invest in some of the technology. Try to invest in technology without losing the human element, because that's the other thing that we're seeing is people, I'm not going to say the big exodus, and this is a big thing to claim, but social media is kind of flattened out a little bit with as far as number of users. They're actually declining.
A lot of people are deleting.
They're actually declining a little bit with number of users. We've still got a long way to go, y'all. And there's still a lot of doom scrolling. I just got done doing it, trying to eat a chicken salad right before this. I'm not even going to lie to you. I got caught up in some damn baby videos. We still have a long way to go, but I also think that there's people that are myself in general too. I'm over it. I'm finding it easier to put down my phone. I'm finding it easier to where my digital exhaustion is just a real thing. So I think you've got to figure out the balance between using that technology without losing the human element.
Yeah. Nice.
So you got to still be a person, but you've got to embrace all the technology.
Okay. I would agree. Technology. Dillon, do you have anything to say about this topic?
Technology
We
every
could probably
time
do
it
a
comes
whole
up.
nother podcast on this whole
Every time it comes up, yeah. No,
Oh.
technology is ever changing, and yeah, it's all about how your leadership, whether I think the unique thing about being a rep is to some degree you might have some of your own control, right? But ultimately you still are part of you represent brands that are represented by an organization. So ultimately they may have some dictation or some say, or they may have their own policies. But it's all about how your leaders adapt it and integrate it into your daily processes, right? To start adapting, because the world's changing. I know AI is the big buzzword right now, and that's ever changing practically every day it changes. So, Delaney, I was thinking on your onboarding thing, a GPT is one thing, but almost like with onboarding, I may regret saying this on this podcast. I'm just going to go do it. But like having an agent that basically just talks to you, like a digital sales rep that knows your business and knows the processes, and that's who you interact with for onboarding, which would be wild. But
Yeah.
then they're going to come take your job and call your customers and start writing their own orders. That's not a
No,
problem.
they won't. Because it's the human aspect that Ashley was talking about. We can't eliminate the human aspect.
Well, and on the flip side, as much as, I'm 40, so, a little bit of millennial here, just kind of thing. And so, I mean, as much as I love a good email and a good text message, and sometimes I can dread picking up the phone, I will solve a 2 or 3 day email exchange in a 4-minute phone call.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think my customers appreciate that too. They just want to, I mean, it's like, all right, let's just, all right, blah, blah, blah. Like we're going, instead of like 2 or 3 days and clogging up the inbox, the 4 minutes on the phone, like there's still some customers that are like, have told me before, like, you're the only rep that calls me, or you still answer the phone, or you pick up the phone. And I'm very honest. I'm like, if I'm on the phone, or if I'm, I try to quickly text them back, or I try to get back with them within 24 hours. And Allison, my assistant, it's been a big thing with her too, is I'm like, just pick up the phone and call them. Like, I don't want to don't CC me on email. Call them, even if you have to call them 2 days in a row. Yeah. And she knows it. So we've tried to, even though email and text, it may seem quicker and easier and better, sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've tried to, I guess, call attention for us and like call it out to us and be, like, just pick up the phone, like remind ourselves, like, don't send an email, pick up the phone.
Yeah. So. It's all about learning like your customer's preferred form of communication, but ultimately, regardless of what your preferred form is, unless phone calls it because you're already on the phone, always trying to just understand when something is going off the rails, identifying it before it gets to that point, and then just picking up the phone, because you can, to your point, you can always typically resolve things much quicker that way. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, for sure.
Becoming a little bit of a lost art, so we got to keep it alive.
What other roles and maybe struggles does Gib Carson as a company have / also struggle with finding new talent?
Oh man.
If somebody listening isn't, I don't know if I'm ready for the sales rep.
Yeah, the 100% commission piece is hard right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cost of living is, through the roof. Gib and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Gas prices are up, and for a road rep, that's hard. But we've seen these gas prices before. But to my point and what I told Gib, I said, but it was not coupled with 30-40% increase in groceries. My electric bill being higher, my gas bill being higher, my health insurance being higher. So yeah, we did see some of these gas prices a couple years ago, but it wasn't coupled with the entire economy, and the cost of living being higher. So it's a little bit different. So I think it's like, inflation, and not trying to get political at all. No.
Yeah. It's just external factors that unfortunately affect all of our businesses.
Outgrowing the rate of what people are making. And so, people that are entering the workforce are looking for those benefits. They're looking for that flexibility. They're looking for, and I think 100% commission is really difficult, with the generation that's coming out into the workforce. So I think it's hard in investing in yourself a little bit. So and it's not just Gib Carson. I'm involved with so many other agencies, too, that, the 100% commission piece. So do we give a benefits package and, draw back commission? I think there's a lot of agencies that are looking at their compensation plans to adjust to the generation that's coming, or to try and find, the next, sales rep for that territory that may be retiring.
Yeah. I guess I'd be curious, listeners, maybe drop a comment or leave a note on this podcast episode about what you feel about the commission only and if it could help guide our industry in creating something that would help you maybe come onto it.
So yeah, I mean, our biggest struggle, I think, is that 100% commission piece and finding the right type of person, because it does take a few months to get your commission check going and rolling. I mean, we offer a draw, a lot of companies do, but nobody wants to, you don't want to take a loan out on your first paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
To a minimum. I think there's a lot of companies that do that. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, you do, I guess you could consider it a loan, but I also equate it again, it's like that initial investment in yourself without having an upfront capital. Like you investing in yourself today, Ashley, is you fired an assistant, right? But getting started, you don't have that business to tap into to, get yourself going. So, if it is something you want to do, to your point, just, you gotta have that right mindset. You gotta be willing to jump all the way in and stay curious, ask questions, and just basically hit the ground running. And, the loan, if you will pay itself off, basically.
It does. It can be very rewarding. I mean, it really can. It can be very rewarding.
We just had one of ours pay off her draw. So yay.
Yeah.
Go girl. Now you're really making money.
Agency at work. So yeah, I think there's a lot, understanding the next generation. And so I don't even think it's the next generation. Not that it's I think, can people out of college do this? 100%. Absolutely. Great. But also, can people in their, early 30s that are looking to make a career shift even better? For sure. So,
yeah, for sure. I think that'd be awesome. All right. Well, we've talked a lot about your home market being Atlanta. And yes, this year it was a little jacked up, but normally in one sentence, how would you describe show or market?
It's been 7 years and it's probably been more than that. I go to shows and I still I just get pumped. I just get pumped up. They just pump me up. There's just exhilaration, this energy at shows, and also come with a 9.8 stress level out of 10. It's just, I mean, I love it. The energy is great. People are finding new things. I mean, as many samples as my carcass holds, I can never set up a showroom. And drinks are flowing, snacks are there, you got food, you got music, you've got all the newness, you've got the wheel going. I mean, there's just a lot going on. And I think buyers, I've had buyers that missed a show and they've regretted it. They're I'm never going to miss another show, because it's that time away, that focused, dedicated time, whether it be 2 days or 7 days. It doesn't matter what you do in the office. You're never going to get that focused, dedicated time just to buying inventory back without going to a show. So that's really important. The training that comes along with it, the in-person. I just
love it. I'm pumped. Well, with that pumped up energy, what is your favorite part about working in this industry?
Oh my gosh. The people. Hands down.
Ding, ding.
I mean, you've had 13 episodes. People have always said that. I mean,
it's the common thread.
It's so cheesy, and I'm probably gonna get emotional, and it might be the hormones, but I mean, I've had some huge life changes in the industry. I mean, you guys know I became a widow at the age of 32. And that's not something small that happens when you're 32 years old. And the amount of love from just complete strangers in the industry, just because we were in the same industry, is just, it was so humbling. And, people are people, and I haven't come across a bad one, whether it be a competing rep agency that we're friends with, still friends, signing up using a different software company. I mean, heck, you took the family to a different, it's, it's we can all come together on a podcast, and, the people, we have a lot of resilient, great people in this industry.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's not a lot that I haven't met that I don't really, enjoy being around and having a conversation with.
Same.
That is definitely the common thread.
It is 13 episodes in. The people.
And to your point, Ashley, about us jumping all on a podcast and getting together, even if it was competitors, for example, it's just one thing that resonated. Ashley, were you at the REAs? Mm-hmm. I saw you in. Okay, yeah. So I don't know, but the vibes I was picking up, basically everybody's quick little speech or thank you, all resonated. It's community over competition. 110%.
Shout out Boutique Hub.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that was the first thing when
also
I went to my first GHA conference. Like that was the first thing that blew my mind is like how many people you leave the company that you're at the door. And as you enter the room, you know, what everybody's trying to do is solve the same problem that we all have and work together as one big team.
For sure. And then for our listeners, the REAs are the Retailer Excellence Awards. They are hosted by Gifts and Decorative Magazine in Dallas every summer, awarding retailers, sales reps, manufacturers, and all the are agencies awarded too?
I don't know what they call them, like influencers of the industry, stuff like that.
Yeah, retailers, manufacturers, and sales reps. Yeah.
So that's a big award
ceremony. I believe you were a sales rep of the year. Was that last year?
Last year, I've been a nominee last year and this year. Yep.
All right.
Nominee. One day you're gonna win.
I know, you have to, and I take that as I'm like 2 years in a row. Like that's great. Like congrats to all the winners. By the way, they're all phenomenal. Most of the sales reps, they hats off. There's some good talent up there. But yeah, I mean, retailers the nominations can only come from retailers. So to be nominated 2 years in a row. I mean, that means like our retailers like think that an application is not a short application. Like, it's not just like submit a rep's name. Like you have to really put the thought behind that nomination. So for a retailer or retailers to take time to do that for me, like that's such an honor. So yeah.
I think that's the rewarding aspect of it is like all the hard work gets to pay off, or the goodwill, as you put it, Delaney, right? All the goodwill, just focus on being you and present and being there for your customers. And look what happens in the end. They think of you and nominate you for Rep of the Year. So it's amazing.
But I hope this inspired somebody, maybe in retail, maybe not in retail, maybe change something.
For sure.
You guys are more than welcome to throw my information at the bottom. If anybody wants to reach out, I'm on LinkedIn as well. My name is officially changed now to Ashley Miller McKinney.
Okay, perfect.
There's that right here on Zoom. I changed it on Zoom a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yay. Well, we will let people get in touch and keep doing you. Shine and star in the industry. Let's go, Ashley. Thanks for joining us. We're so excited to nail you down.
I have a love for both of you. So I would do it.
Appreciate it. Good to see you. Safe driving to your dad's house.
I know. I'm packing it up and getting on the road.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Ash. Bye.
Curious about any of the opportunities discussed in this episode? Be sure to check out the industry job board at wholesaletalent.com. And thanks for listening to Beyond the Stockroom.